In Informatica Cloud, there are various services available, and the specific services you can access depend on your organization's license. In our case, we are using a trial account, which provides access to the data integration services. But not all services are available. For example, we don't have access to ICS quality services or the data ingestion task, which previously was known as mass ingestion service. Mass ingestion service got deleted from here and renamed to data ingestion task, which can be now found in the data integration service. If we click Show all services, we'll be presented with the list of all ICS services that are currently in use. But in our case, we are not interested in data quality tools, as we are interested in the integration cloud. This course consists of 3 parts, each focusing on different services within the Informatica platform. I will go back to the previous menu to keep it simple as of now. And now let's discuss the course structure. In part 1, we'll cover data integration services, including data integration service, monitor service, and operational insight service. In part 2, we'll explore the data ingestion service, which is currently unavailable in our trial account. In part 3, we'll discuss application integration and the application integration console, equipping you with the knowledge needed to effectively use Informatica Cloud. Let's start with part 1, data integration services. This is where we'll spend most of our time, creating various data integration tasks. First, let's explore the data integration service interface. So we'll open it. In the main window, you can see some shortcuts. Some are for creating assets, like connections, and other are for creating tasks, like the data transfer task. If I click on any of these shortcuts, let's say let's get connected, it will navigate you directly to the location where you can create a connection. So let's test it. I will click it. And as you can see, we got moved to the administrator service, where you can create connections. Let's go back to the data integration service. Informatica Cloud organizes its functionality into assets and components. And if I click New, so here, then we will see the list of assets and components that we can create. We create assets to meet the business needs, while components are the tools that support these assets. For example, tasks, mappings, and task flows are all considered assets. And if we go to the components and we look for the file listener, which can be found right here, file listener can be configured to trigger a task flow in case a new file arrives or get updated, but we'll get to it in the later part of this course. So the task flow is the asset where business logic will be implemented, and file listener, so a component, will help us to trigger it, so it will support our asset. Let's create a new project. I will close it. I will go to the Explorer, and here we have a list of all projects created in our ICS organization. And in this window, I will click New Project, so here, and I will name it Salesforce Project. And I will click Save. As you can see here, a new project just got created, so Salesforce Project. Now let's explore mappings. So again, New, and Mappings. So what is a mapping? A mapping is a visual representation of the data flow from a source to a target. It defines how data is extracted from one or more sources, transformed according to specified rules or logic, and then loaded into one or more target systems. Here we can start with a basic mapping. A basic mapping includes just a source and a target, or we can use some pre-built examples. If we click here, let's say in the integration, we can see a lot of built-in examples. One of these examples is a mapping copy data to a new target. The difference between basic mapping and pre-built example is that they already include some logic. If I create a new basic mapping, so I click Mapping and click Create, we can see a basic mapping with just the source and the target. But if I again click New, Mappings, Integration, and I will create copy data to a new target mapping, so the pre-built example, I will click Create. We can see exactly the same mapping, but this time with one transformation called expression that is added here. And in the basic mapping, we could basically do the same. We could just add the transformation here. So the point is that from the basic mapping you can create everything, and these pre-built mappings are just an example. But of course, if you are not sure about how to start, you can go to the examples and try to find something that you are looking for. But in this course, we'll focus on the basic mapping. If you get familiar with it, you will be able to create anything that you need, without looking for these examples. The same situation goes for the task flows. If I click New and go to the task flows, we can see the basic task flow and some pre-built examples. A task flow is a visual and automated process that orchestrates the execution of different tasks in a specific order. Task flows allow you to define the sequence and conditional logic to execute multiple tasks, which include mappings, data synchronization tasks, or other types of processes. From this window, you can create a basic task flow with just a start and end step. So I'll create a basic task flow. So again, create. We created a basic task flow with start and end step. And if I go to the task flows again, so new, task flows, and this time I will use one of these examples. I will choose parallel tasks and I will click create. What we can see here is a task flow which is pre-configured to run two data tasks in parallel. However, just as in the mapping, everything that you can see in these examples can also be created from scratch. And during your daily work, in most of the cases, you'll design mappings and task flows from scratch. We'll cover additional data integration features like bundles and My Jobs later in the course. For now, let's focus on understanding and managing connections within the data integration service.